Hey guys, this is Karthikeya from Apex FinServe and I'm back with the fresh video for the expiry analysis for tomorrow's trading session. Before we move on, I'd like to apologize for my absence last week. It simply slipped my head that we had the expiry on Wednesday and I could not fit it into my schedule for simply to make a video for that expiry. So I'm sorry for that. But without wasting much time, moving on to what's new for tomorrow, starting with usual the equity side first. The first trade that we have is on SBIN, where it's a simple structure based short approach, as we have a clear lower low lower high running. We have had a fresh lower high formation near the previous swing levels, so that is exactly where we are going to go short at 420. Stop loss going at 425. Idle targets 1% on the downside. Moving on to the second trade that we have on equity is on M&M. Now this one too is a structure invalidation based entry, where we had a clear higher high higher low structure running on the hourly time frame, freshly broken simple swing and supply zone based entry at 785, stop loss at 795, idle targets 1% on the downside. The third trade that we have is on Simpla. Now Simpla has invalidated a structure just like M&M, but on the opposite side of things, where we had a lower low lower high running for a brief period of time, but we have now a break of high on the top side. So we are going to go for a pullback based long at a strong support level at 900, stop loss at 890, just near the closest swing low that we have. Idle targets 1% on the upside. The fourth trade that we have is on ACC, where we are going to go for a simple supply zone based entry at 2300. We don't really have a structure based entry condition here, but it's the simple understanding here is it's in a trading range right now for me from about 2365 2370 on the high side to 2250 on the low side. So we're going to go for a short somewhere in the middle, expecting a 1% target on the downside, stop loss at 2330. The final equity trade that we have is on BPCL, similar to ACC, but on the other side of things. We do have a trading range here, but it does seem to be wanting to break it on the high side. So we're going to go for a long at the nearest available roll reversal level at 455, stop loss at 450 at the more or less the origin of this sudden up move that we have on this chart. Idle targets 1% on the upside. Now moving on to the index side of things, or the indices, which I assume is what you people watch the video for more or less. Starting first with Nifty. Now for the past couple of days we have had pretty much one directional movement on the indices, both Nifty and Banknifty, but they do seem to be slowing down right now. It doesn't mean that they are going to have a strong correction immediately, but at least from the structure side of things, the big higher high has been made and we should at least have 75 to 100 points of a correction on Nifty, and the charts more or less seem to support that approach. We have the critical zone at about 16650, which is pretty much exactly where it closed. Above that we can go for directional trades on the upside, targeting 16720 or maximum of 16750 for tomorrow. On the downside, however, if this is not sustained, we can go for aggressive intraday based short entries, targeting 16580 followed by 16500 on the worst case scenario. On the option chain side of things, I have immediate resistance at 16700 with a hefty addition of 3.2 million added contracts. Significant comes in at 16800 with a respectable 1.4 million addition. On the support side of things, it's still pretty strong at 16600 at 2.2 million. However, just after that immediate support, the significant support doesn't really have that big of an addition at 16500 at 580,000 added contracts, which means that 16600 right now for Nifty is pretty much going to be a do or die level. We do have a zone exactly there as well, so if it is weak, then we can go for breakdown based entries too. The PCR comes out to be at 0.99, which is borderline aggressively bearish. So pretty much everybody seems to be on the same side of things, the option writers, given that 16600 is not sustained. I don't really expect Nifty to have an up move or a bullish expiry, in simple words, given again the condition that 16600 is not sustained. Same goes for the option buyers, and even the charts are pointing towards that direction. However, if that is sustained, then we might see establishment of a fresh trading range from 16550 on the downside to 16750 on the top side, which would mean that the higher low structure that has been running is pretty much going to go straight into the dustbin. But I guess we'll see how that pans out tomorrow. Moving on to the main thing, that is Banknifty. Now Bank Nifty we do have zones, but these zones are not as close as what we had on Nifty. That is a good thing because that gives us fewer entries with healthier targets, so less chances of FOMO or these kinds of things happening. The critical zone for Bank Nifty right now is 35,600. If that is sustained, we might see a really strong sudden up move till 35,800. If that is not sustained, we'll drop to 35,350, 35,400 without much of a worry. The option chain also echoes that sentiment, where we have the immediate resistance at 35,800 with 590,000 added contracts, significant at 36,000, big round number obviously, with 422,000 added contracts. Support comes in at 35,500, of course again a round number, at 254,000 added contracts, significant at 35,000 with just 98,000 added contracts. One important thing is the PCR of volume, which is at 1.03, which is more or less extremely bearish. That is pretty much evident in the pullback that we have here as well. You can see from the swing high to the swing low that it has made. The pullback is a lot more intense than the pullback, the small pullback that we had on Nifty. So the selling pressure does seem to be pretty strong, or at least consistent on the charts as of now. If you were to ask me what rate I would have for tomorrow on Bank Nifty, I would say that 35,600 is going to be the deciding level, depending on where it stays, around either above or under that zone for the first 30 to 45 minutes. I would like to go for directional trades tomorrow, but the chances are also equally high that we might even have a boring expiry. So I might even turn around to option selling aggressively for the expiry itself. Either way, that is my bias on Nifty and Bank Nifty both for tomorrow. Now this marks the end of today's video. These are all the charts that I had to share with you guys. If you want these charts, if you want the option chain analysis, I will share all of it with you before the market opens on the Telegram channel Apex Finserve. So please make sure that you are a member of that channel. And the month of September is coming, which means that the fresh batch of the mentorship program is about to start soon, in a week or so. I have received a couple of texts from people who inquired for the August batch, but sadly the slots were filled, so they were rolled back to the September batch. So don't worry, I will be reaching out to you as soon as the August batch is done and dusted. So we'll begin September batch, but the only thing is there's going to be a slight delay because there was a festive weekend in August, so we are slightly behind schedule. So the worst case scenario will start from the second week of September instead of the first week of September. But I'll let you guys know through Apex back support when exactly we are going to start. Now this is it. This marks the end of today's video. I hope you have a wonderful green trading session tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching. If you like the video, if you like the analysis that I have been sharing with you guys, please make sure to like the video, leave a nice comment, subscribe to the channel, press that bell notification icon as well. I hope you have a wonderful green trading session tomorrow. Have a good night. Bye.